Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Nahmaduhu wa nasalli ala Rasulih al-Karim. Amma ba'd. This is a common question and answer that comes quite often as well. That the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says in a hadith that la yu'minu ahadukum hatta akuna habba ilayhi min walidihi wa walidihi wa nasi ajma'in. That nobody can be a true believer until the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam becomes more beloved to him than his family, himself. The Prophet is most beloved. And then the question that arises is that we sense that we have more love for things that we can see in front of us. Our children, our wives, our parents, our wealth, our car. We remember those things, we worry about those things more than we actually do of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So the simple answer to that is that there's two types of love. One is muhabbat tabi'i, natural love, and one is muhabbat aqli. So muhabbat aqli is like you know that the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam is the most important thing. And we love him the most aqlan, rationally, cognitively, he's the best. So even though you can't sense it, the Prophet ﷺ is not in front of you, and you have interacted with him, but you, at the end of the day, you have more love for him than you have for anybody else. And the test for this is when there's a clash. So if, for example, your parents were to say something against Rasulullah ﷺ, if you're a real believer, you wouldn't tolerate it. You would find it very difficult. You would have to then, you want to say, okay, my father is saying, yeah, it's all right. I laugh at that as well. La qaddar Allah. But then, some of authors have gone, Hazrat Alhamdulillah has gone further. They say that really, in reality, we also have more tabi'i love for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam than we have for ourselves and our parents, but we don't realize it. So for example, somebody said, well, you got a choice. You can have full data of your father's life, or your mother's life, or your friend's life, from beginning to end, nothing. You can see a video of their first steps. Or you can see it for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You can see the Prophet's full life from beginning to end, his first steps. The first time, the first words you spoke. So all the data we don't have now, it's gone. Nobody preserved it. The first thing, what he was like when he was running around. What was his favorite play when he was younger. So if you had the choice, a believer, even most believers would have this tabi'i love, then I would rather see Rasulullah video from beginning to end rather than my own parents, because my parents are not that interesting. They're interesting, I love them, but yeah, I prefer my Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So even then, the love that we have for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is better. Aqlan, cognitively, when there's a rational clash, we choose Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam over that. But even taba'an, but because we don't know this, but when the time comes, we actually have more love for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam taba'an than we have for anything else. And then he goes on to say another place he says here, and even in this, you have two types of love, muhabbat tabi'i, natural love, and muhabbat aqli. So he's saying that the better love is actually muhabbat aqli, because when you come to a rational conclusion regarding something, that doesn't change. It's okay, this, for example, you come rationally to come to accept that apples are better than candy, because apples are healthy, candy is not healthy in terms of all the benefits. You rationally come to this conclusion. So your love for apples is aqlin, that this is better because it's more beneficial for me. And your love for Snickers or Mars or chocolate or all of this is tabi'i because it's good. Now, when you have an aqli thing, that doesn't change. And let's say, for example, you have a bad experience with one of those taba'an, something you get put off from it. So then you would say, I don't want it anymore, because it was not, cognitively I didn't appreciate it. It just tasted good, and that taste is gone. I had a bad one. There was worm in one of them. You get put off from it permanently. And when you have something cognitively or mentally, you like something, it will last forever. So that's why the love for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is aqlan, that you understand why you love Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It's not just purely emotional. You know why you love him, because he was the best of all mankind. He received the wahi, he propagated the message, his sacrifices, his love for the ummah. So when all of these things, when you actually think about these things, this love of this cognitive love, the aqli love, is actually more important than the tabi'i love. Tabi'i love can change based on your desires and your emotions, but aqli love never changes. So that's why we should have both love for Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. May Allah grant us this love, inshallah.